What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Double Money Event Week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for February 16th through February 22nd, 2023. In terms of new content for this week, we received the new Tundra Panther, which means there's only 4 drip feed cars left for this DLC. Plus, we also received the new 50 car garage this week, and then also some new Freemode events, including the street dealers, daily stash houses, Gerald caches, and random convenience store robberies as well. So Rockstar definitely gave us a ton of new content today. I'm quite surprised, if I'm being honest, especially since we just received the Broadway last week, and in the past with the drip feed, Rockstar was kind of skipping weeks and stuff, but back to back, good content. I'm quite surprised. However, I do have a feeling that we're probably not going to get anything new for the next 2 weeks, considering all the new content we got today, and of course they brought away the week before. So, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Rockstar is giving us the rest of the cars we have left just week after week. We can only hope, right? But anyways, the current prize right for this week is the Coquette Classic. This vehicle is primarily based on the Corvette C2 and has a normal price of $665,000. To get this car for free, you have to place top 1, meaning first place, in 5 LS CarMate Series races. And there's no day in a row requirement for this one, so that's the first time I've ever seen Rockstar do that. This is by far the easiest prize right challenge I've ever seen, so if you've always wanted to do it, now's your chance. 5 races in a day, first place, and the car is yours. In terms of performance, this car is of a Sports Classics class and is around mid-pack in that class, which is pretty decent for what it is. In terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the Cypher, the Dominator GTT, and the Euros as well. And for next-gen console users, we have the HSW Weaponized Ignis as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. Now, in terms of a casino podium vehicle, we have the Cheetah Classic. This vehicle is primarily based on the Ferrari Testarossa mixed with the 288 GTO and has a normal price of $865,000. In terms of performance, it's in the Sports Classics class and is one of the fastest cars on that class alongside the Turismo Classic. However, if you're on next gen, obviously the HSW Turismo Classic and HSW Sterling GT are the kings, but with HSW disabled, or if you're on old gen, the Cheetah Classic is still a good car to try and win. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos we have the Penumbra FF and the Coil Raiden. And for Simeons we have the new Panther, the Conjo SJ, the Tauros, the Hustler, and the Nightshade as well. Moving on to discounts, in terms of property discounts, we have 35% off the motorcycle clubhouses, as well as 35% off the upgrades and renovations for them as well. Also, the actual MC businesses are also 35% off this week, including the upgrades for them, which is very, very cool. So if you always wanted to get into the MC businesses, or maybe buy some extra ones or change locations or what have you, or get upgrades, definitely the best time to do so. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have 30% off the Euros. This car is in a sports class and really isn't all that quick, being around mid-pack in that class, so it's really only something you buy for its styling and customization. Next up, we have 30% off the Krieger, one of the fastest supercars in the class for track performance if we don't count the HSW cars. This is a fantastic deal on this car. Continuing, we have 30% off the Emirates. Pretty much the same story with this one as the Krieger, but deciding which one to buy is all personal preference since they're both extremely closely matched in terms of performance. However, the Krieger is a bit easier to drive, so that might be the deciding factor depending on how good of a driver you are. Moving along, we have 30% off the Thrax. This car is of course in the supercar class and is in top 10 and can compete with most of the top supercars on most tracks. It's by far the best handling Bugatti based car in game. However, its top speed isn't the highest in terms of the Bugatti based cars. That still goes to the Nero Custom. Next up, we have 30% off the Wagner. So this car is on the supercar class as well. Lots of supercars on sale this week, but anyways, its performance is very good, being in top 5 for most tracks. It is by far the best bang for the buck value if you're looking for a very competitive supercar on a budget. If you're a relatively newer player and don't have any top supercars and are looking for something on the cheaper side, this is an insanely good deal for the performance you get, and I highly recommend it. But obviously, if you're on next gen, the HSW supercars are in leagues of their own for track performance, so do keep that in mind. Moving on to the San Andreas website, we have 30% off the Conjo SJ. So this car is in the Coupes class and is one of the slowest ones in that class. Now the customization on it is pretty cool, but in general, I think it's just a bit overpriced for being a Honda Civic. Even with this discount and the crazy GTA inflation, I think it's just still too overpriced. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on the Adversary Mode Relay, plus double money NRP on the new Freemode Store Robbery Random Events. Continuing, we have 1.5 times money NRP on the newly added Gerald Stashes, which spawns in random places, and 1.5 times money on street dealers as well. And lastly, we have double speed boost on your MC business production rate, and double supplies when you do MC resupply missions, even though it's always better to buy the supplies, but still a good bonus either way. Moving on to the Prime Game bonuses for Prime Game members only. So again, same as usual, we have the usual free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And if you log in before February 22nd with Twitch Prime linked, you'll be given the Twilight Painted Rabbit mask for free. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is Cemetery. This week's normal time trial is Elysian Island. I highly recommend a vehicle with a high top speed or a fast bike for that one. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the muscle car race Muscle In. I highly recommend the Buffalo STX for that race, and if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Vigero ZX. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial is North Chumash. As always, the HSW Hakuchu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm going to have to go with the Wagner. I think this is an insanely good deal for this car and by far the best value of any supercar on sale. If you need a fast, competitive supercar on a budget, definitely pick this one up. You won't regret it. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is actually really good, all things considering. I'm quite surprised because last week we received the Broadway. I didn't think we were going to get a good event week so soon, the week right after. So this does beg the question, what's next week going to be like? I think it's going to be a pretty bad event week next week with probably no new content. But like I said earlier, I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe Rockstar just wants to release the last of the drip feed cars they have left week after week. We will see. Hopefully that's the case. I just hate waiting so long. Like when they skip weeks, it just gets really annoying. I'm sure most of you can agree, but we shall see what they do next week. And for those of you who didn't know, Rockstar did patch the Taxi God Mode glitch last week, but then a workaround was found immediately. Well, for this event week, they patched that workaround as well, so hopefully it's gone for good now. But yeah, anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.